What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and from Fox 5 New York, inside huge NYPD gang takedown. They say ride along with police in Queens as they conduct what could be the largest takedown in the borough's history. So it seems like they finally reached the breaking point. Somebody at least wants to pretend they're doing something about the crime in New York City. And I can almost guarantee they will ride this until the wheels fall off and pretend they are cleaning up the entire city when it's probably just a drop in the bucket. Of course, they're going to call it possibly the largest in history. But who knows? Let's see what Fox 5 has to say about how this all went down.
Officials think this could be the largest gang takedown in history in the borough of Queens, and Fox 5 was given exclusive access as it happened.
So in the borough of Queens, right? And they are making that clear. It's not the entire city. So possibly the largest gang takedown in Queens, which is a little stipulation there, of course.
Queens District Attorney, along with the NYPD Chief of Detectives, announcing the 151-count indictment of 33 alleged gang members. Officials say all 33 defendants are charged with conspiracy to commit murder and that 18 of those were active trigger pullers. They say the defendants are members of warring gangs trying to establish territorial dominance in southeast Queens. The gun violence escalated after the high-profile murder of an aspiring high school basketball star 4 years ago.
And that's what happens. That's what it takes, right? Because I lived in Flatbush, Brooklyn, and I can almost guarantee, I'm not a detective, I'm not NYPD, but I can almost guarantee that that particular section of the neighborhood had become a gang territory war. There's memorials all over the place, dope fiends everywhere, crackheads, right? Shootings, drive-bys, incredibly violent car accidents from people speeding away from crimes they just committed, but no high profile, takedown of a young kid that they can put on the front page of a newspaper happened, so it didn't really get the press. But now, when you have a sad story about an 8th grader or a 14-year-old or whatever it might be, that you can, put him up on the front, then it becomes a story. Then people become worried about it. We also saw that with Junior, and then of course they later lessened the charges of one of the guys accused of taking him out, but different story. I digress.
While the gang war was set off by a slashing in April of 2019, the tensions and the violence between the warring factions escalated after the murder of 14-year-old Amir Griffin in October of 2019.
Throughout this investigation, it was determined that members of these gangs intended to commit murder and shoot opposing gang members.
This is not funny. I'm not smart. It's just this guy's haircut looks a little ridiculous.
Based solely on their alliances and territorial disputes.
30 guns. You see them there. They were seized in this gang takedown. But before today's sweeping indictment was announced against members of 2 violent street gangs, our own Lisa Evers was embedded with the operation as NYPD detectives rounded up the suspects. And she is here now to bring us this Fox 5 exclusive. Lisa.
So this does seem a little bit more newsworthy and a little bit better work than, I don't know, trying to take down Donald Trump like the Manhattan DA is doing or pretended to do, and then said, oh, Trump's trying to intimidate me with talks of protests, completely ignoring the mostly peaceful protests of the Summer of Love, and then saying something along the lines of, Donald Trump, he was pretending that we were going to... It's like, dude, you guys have been trying to arrest him since the day he came down the escalator, and so now you guys are going to throw it back on him like, oh, he was the one who started this? Give me a break, bro. But of course, that's not what this is about.
Take it away.
Well, Chris, this long-term investigation began with the murder of a promising teen basketball player. Now, nearly 4 years later, NYPD detectives tell us they have dismantled 2 rival gangs who terrorized South Jamaica residents with reckless gunfire, using drill music videos and social media to fuel their beefs.
Of course, drill music is part of the problem. Eric Adams wants Instagram and TikTok to censor that, because censorship is quite often the solution to any of their problems, is just shut them up. But I guess this is a step in the right direction. As you can see from this photo here, it looks like the white supremacy has struck again.
We got an exclusive look at their focused methods, which are very different from the wide net gang sweeps of the past.
Some of the more than 30 suspects were already behind bars in state prison and on Rikers Island for other crimes. They were brought into the 111th precinct to be charged in this major gang conspiracy case. So serious were the safety concerns about the explosive rivalry between the crews known as Money World and their opposition, or Ops, the local trap stars, that police booked them at separate precincts to keep their family members and associates separated when they showed up.
It's pretty much shoot on sight when they see the opposition, and a lot of times innocent people are caught in the middle of it.
Over the last 5 or 6 years, these two gangs terrorized an entire community.
Before sunrise, more than 150 NYPD detectives and supervisors assembled for the takedown of the alleged gang members. Most are between the ages of 18 to 22 and have been arrested before.
This started in the Baisley houses when Amira Griffin got shot and killed.
In October 20.
This is absolute insanity. So we remember a story from a week or two ago, or a couple days ago, of the juvenile correctional center guards smuggling contraband into teenagers, and this is basically what those kids become, right? They're 18 to 22, so and have been arrested before, so they were in that juvenile facility taking advantage of those people, and they get out and they continue to do this. And then we also hear stories about how the new bail reform law is good for the community, and it's people who are freed under those new bail reform laws are less likely to get arrested. Is that really true? Could that possibly be true? Do you think Alvin Bragg, or I guess he's Manhattan, so I don't know who the DA is in Queens. Perhaps they have mentioned it or they will mention it. Anyhow, is that guy going to let these kids go and pretend that, yeah, they're less likely to get arrested when they've been terrorizing people for at least the past 4 years? It's absolute insanity.
2019, 14-year-old Amir Griffin, a Cardozo High School student athlete, was the unintended target of a shooting. He was killed on the basketball courts near his home.
Sean, anything you want to say?
18-year-old Sean Brown was arrested for the murder and is part of this case.
And they make him wear the mask. It's ridiculous.
That could have been me. It could be my cousins, my nephews. I mean, it's just sad that had to happen, but today, we have justice for the family.
As detectives investigated, they found a connection to other shootings that were happening in South Jamaica. Some were in broad daylight, one even outside a high school. Police say an escalating rivalry between the Money World and local trap star gangs was responsible.
Once a shooting.
I'm wondering how these kids all got their hands on those weapons, right? I mean, it's a much safer city if nobody is able to defend themselves. And I can totally understand how you don't want the entire project, the Queens projects, to have a gun, but they somehow, some way got them. So do you really think that the answer is to take the guns away from people who aren't in a gang, from law-abiding citizens? I don't know, different story.
Occurs and there's retaliation for that shooting, it goes back and forth, and it seems like they're never satisfied with the amount of violence they've committed, and they're always trying to get one up on their opposition.
Captain Gillis says the rivalry is over territory, not money or drugs. The hatred heated up over social media.
But the territory will equal money, right? I mean, what the territory they want is to probably push their product, which of course 9 times out of 10 is going to be some type of drug. So you can call it territory, but it's definitely money and drugs on top of the territory. You know what I mean? Those things are rolled into one.
Media taunts and drill music videos where they allegedly bragged about the shootings, the actual locations, and even the calibers of guns used in incidents under investigation.
The drill rap is always a motivator, right? And the drill rap is so specific in that they mention people that have been killed in the past and disrespect those people that have been killed in the past. And it creates a residual effect where it's a tit for tat, a one for one. Everyone's trying to get one up on the scoreboard. That creates a retaliatory effect on both sides.
Chief, you have a lot of members of the NYPD here. Who is here and involved in this operation?
Yeah, so this operation involves members of the Detective Bureau. In particular, there's 2 different units. It's called Queens South VCS. In addition to that, it's a gun violence suppression unit.
What's happening here right now is you see different groups getting together. They're getting their assignments, and they're also getting their orders from their superiors about how they're going to do this raid, how they're going to take these suspects in.
Detectives from local precincts, as well as warrants, homicide, and narcotics units, provided backup and were involved in the tactical attack meeting to review strategy.
This is crazy, too, because the NYPD is hemorrhaging officers. They're fleeing to Florida. They're fleeing to different states because they've been villainized. And here they are, I guess, actually trying to, do their job, help the community. And it's going to go unnoticed, right? I mean, they could take down this entire crew, both of these crews, right, who are terrorizing the neighborhood, and they're not going to get any. Look, I'm I'm not sitting here saying that these guys deserve some sort of award for doing their job, but it's like through everybody, the news media, the community, these weirdo activists always villainizing these cops, and then they finally do something that might be productive for the community, and nobody's going to care. They're not going to be like, all right, you did a good job there. They're not going to get any, and they're just going to keep doing their job. Or maybe they won't, and they'll move to Florida and do the job there.
So you guys know what your position is going to be on the team. We're going to move in it tactically. We're going to take our time when we get into the location, make sure we communicate.
Before we go out, they asked me and my cameraman to take precautions too.
Yeah, that's what they should have done in San Francisco when they got robbed. When CNN is out reporting on street level violence and then they get robbed while they had security. It's absolutely, it's crazy what's happening. But like I always say, New York and California will forever read from the exact same corruption playbook, and the same things will happen at the almost the same exact time and forever. Because nobody, not Donald Trump, not Ron DeSantis, not Vivek Ramaswamy or Nikki Haley, any of those presidential candidates, gubernatorial candidates, nobody is going to stop that corruption from continuing, which is kind of really the saddest, maybe black pill thing that I deal with every single day.
Oh, they're giving us bulletproof vests because many of the suspects that they're going after today have been pre-indicted on very serious gun charges. Some are actually accused of murder.
And I bet you they rap in their drill music about shooting for the head, so maybe that vest ain't gonna work.
Head out onto the highway towards South Jamaica.
We're part of an NYPD caravan right now going to the various locations where detectives will be apprehending the suspects in this case.
We can kill the lights.
Copy. We arrive at the house. The detectives surround it according to plan, while others do a door knock and go in with a warrant for the suspect.
The detectives were able to find the person that they were looking for. They have taken this suspect in custody. They were in the house. They came out. No shots have been fired.
This suspect, who is wanted for murder, is brought in to be booked. Another team returns with a suspect who wasn't part of the original case. Police say he panicked and threw this gun out the window while the officers were looking for someone else.
Get that
my classic.
face, my
The NYPD says this case, like others in recent years, shows that when they do sharply focused investigations and take the most violent offenders off the streets, the surrounding communities experience a drop in gun violence.
These guys did horrific violence out in the streets of South Jamaica. So it's a victory for the community today that these guys are actually all apprehended.
Countless acts, several homicides, non-fatal shootings, incidents of gunfire throughout the community absolutely took its toll. And I'm happy that we were able to deliver a clear message today that won't be tolerated.
Yeah, right.
Of course, all of the suspects are presumed innocent until proven guilty, but the NYPD says they have more than enough evidence to support the charges so that they will not be able to shoot anyone again for a very long time. Chris?
Wow, Lisa, excellent work.
They won't be able to shoot anybody again for a very long time. And the classic clip of the guy spitting at the camera, that goes back to like Tupac in the 90s. And I guess shout out to these cops who are risking their lives to, protect this community, even though the political establishment hates them, the activists hate them, everybody hates them. Obviously, these people, they've been villainized to no end, and they still do this when they could let the city further devolve into absolutely nothing. And we'll see if this DA or these weird, lawyers, district attorneys and stuff, if they're going to actually, punish these people. Because, yeah, the cops can take them down, but are they going to actually face any consequences? We'll see. Because it doesn't seem like they have been in the past. And we even have articles, like I said, of them claiming that this new bail reform leads to less rearrest, which I don't believe is true. But, of course, that's a different story. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and, of course, subscribe.